All right, welcome in. Saturday pregame, the Johnston RV Saturday preview, along with Lance Taylor and Jim Dunaway. I'm Ryan Brown. Thank you to JohnstonRVCenter.com for bringing you the Saturday preview. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Also, Champy's world famous fried chicken. LT, how are you this morning?
I'm good, man. I say that I caught something right there. I'm a little disappointed with UAB's performance last night. 4 turnovers. Backup quarterback. I thought UAB had it in the bag, and that's a tough loss.
Yeah, Dunaway. You've depended on your running back for so long, and he fumbles twice. Now he gives you almost 200 yards, but he fumbles twice.
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing to watch. You know, I got off the golf course and went to our friends down at Walk-Ons for a quick dinner there, and was sitting there and watching that game, and the place was cheering for UAB. Obviously, a lot of UAB fans there, and he would take off some runs. And when you watch him play, do you have someone that he reminds you of? He's he's obviously got some speed. He's got some power, little breakaway speed, maybe not good enough to go 80 yards and outrun a DB, but not that I'm saying he's going to have a career like, or he's as good as, but just watching him run, had a little bit of Thurman Thomas when I watch him play. That was
interesting.
That was the guy that popped to mind. But then the fumbles started to happen. But when you lose QB1, man, it's a scramble at that point. And I guess if you're a backup quarterback, the thing that is the easiest to do is to hand the ball off, and the turnovers is what cost them the football game. I thought both defenses played, really well, 20-17. Give it to Western Kentucky. They were down a couple of scores there in the battle back and get that big win in the conference race. But from the UAB side, that is it's a disappointing loss. And, I feel like UAB is a better team than Western Kentucky. I feel like UAB is a better team than Rice. And I think UAB is a better team than Liberty. So there's 3 games, their losses this year, that I'm not sure UAB wasn't the better team on the field, just some tough breaks.
Yeah, Brown, I don't know how you feel, but, watching that game, I think if Hopkins doesn't go out, Zeno made the one nice throw on the touchdown. But, they only passed for 96 yards?
Yeah,
96 yards.
5 completed passes, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to win. The 4 turnovers, you didn't score in the second half. Looking at this game yesterday before the game, I was just kind of looking at some numbers on it. And it occurred to me, I was like, I want to see one more game before I say this. And it happened last night. Normally, in 99% of things, you would say, boy, we would love to emulate Alabama football. But one of the places UAB is emulating Alabama football is they're not a good road team. They're dominating teams at home, but LT, they have struggled on the road at Liberty, at Rice, and at Western Kentucky. They just haven't played good football.
Yeah, and really close games, all one-possession losses, and to have a double-digit lead last night with a backup quarterback and McBride to have the kind of game he had, and that's just a tough loss. But it does come down to the turnovers, and I'm still surprised. I agree with Dunaway. I think UAB's a better team, but now they're sitting there with 3 losses.
Yeah, and I will tell you this, though, and this was a subject that popped onto the table, because I don't think in my career that UAB, and now I know these programs have not been at this level my whole career, but in my career, UAB and Troy in South Alabama are in the best situation they've ever been in at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're very strong 3 programs there. And at Troy and at South Alabama, I don't know how long you can keep your 2 young coaches from moving on, but those guys are really good. And whether it's Bryant Vincent or whomever the next head coach is, it just seems like it's a really appealing job right now, and a very important time in UAB football history as they make this decision about who's going to either continue to lead the program or who's going to take over the program, because it has some momentum, and it has really good momentum in recruiting. I think one of the reasons all 3 of those programs are succeeding, and Jack State and Sanford too, but those 3 programs at that level are succeeding is because of the portal and the pandemic year, to where you've built up some really nice rosters. So it's the decision Mark Ingram has to make on whether to keep Bryant Vincent or to go in a different direction is huge at this point, because I don't think UAB's ever had this kind of momentum, and they're heading to the American, where I assume the competition is going to take a step up, but you're going to have a lot of the same teams in there too. So it's going to be a nice fit for UAB. I still wish UAB was going to the Sun Belt, but that battle is over.
Hey,
Josh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know we're biased, but I'm pulling for Bryant Vincent. I really am. And
Sure.
the unfortunate thing is that they're so close to being undefeated. I mean, they really are. It's a bounce here, it's a turnover there, and they could have won all three of those road games that we're talking about. My fear is, Bryant Vincent doesn't get the job. It's not a splash hire because it's still a difficult job going to the American UAB. It's a lot better than it was, obviously. But a guy like Dwayne McBride, as good as he is, I don't know where he figures in to the NFL mix right now as a running back. He's probably like a third-round guy.
Ooh,
my fear
really?
is he transfers out and plays a final season like with an SEC school.
So you think he's even a third-round guy? Because I thought you were going to say, he's going to be an undrafted guy who would have to
I don't know
make
what
a
his
roster.
speed is. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what does he clock in at? If he's 5'11", 220 pounds. I mean, he's got a great build. He looks like he's got great vision. I just don't know what his top end speed is.
Yeah, I don't know that either. I just know that I watch a lot of college football, and then when we get to the draft, I see very few, relatively speaking, running backs drafted, and you get really good college running backs who end up being undrafted free agents picked up, and they go on and they play in the NFL. It's just become that position where I think you can shop, down at the local Vapor and get really quality players who could come out and play for you in the NFL. I mean, not your top end guy, obviously, but there are guys that you can find off the shelf that can give you carries and fill up special teams and that kind on an NFL roster.
Josh says the still of the weekend player prop over 112.5 for McBride last night.
Oh,
you got that easy. So at least somebody made some money off the loss, right?
Well, I mean, they were 77th against the run, and that's one of the reasons I thought UAB would go out and dominate. I didn't realize that Western Kentucky not only would turn UAB over 4 times, but they also rushed almost for as many yards as UAB. They went almost 250 on the ground.
NAAU fan wants to know, LT, will you have any plays for UFC 280 tonight as a stat card? Do you do any of that at Lance's Lock?
I really only mess with UFC during the summer when things are kind of light. I honestly, I didn't take a look at the NBA today or any Major League Baseball, any postseason. I've got 11 plays up. It's all college football. On Saturdays, Sundays, that's really all I focus on.
Yep. Tells me Dunaway he likes his college picks, right?
That's what I was about to say. That tells me that he started going through the college card and he liked so many picks that there was no need to start looking at NBA or Major League Baseball today or the UFC.
Yeah, I don't want to bring
Lance'sLock.com.
But I had a play on San Jose State. I really like San Jose State today. And, they had the tragedy with the scooter. Just Let me say this. I had a friend in Nashville that fell off one of those scooters and had to go to the emergency room and got concussed and was fortunate not to die. I don't know how they allow anybody to grab one of those scooters with no helmets and just go around town like that. Makes no sense.
Have you been, and this happens in downtown Birmingham. I've seen it in downtown Nashville now too, where, you will get a pack of, I'll call them kids. They could be 16, they could be 22 because I'm old now, but you will see a pack of kids that are just zipping around on those things, and they're doing tricks. They have them revved as fast as they go, and they'll cut corners and they'll jump curbs, and then they'll start weaving in and out of traffic, or it's insane. It's insane that you don't get more of these stories, and maybe they are, and we just don't know it because of not a college football player, but they seem to be extremely dangerous to me, especially you got no helmet. Usually the people, I saw one, God, where were we? We were in Atlanta for SEC Media Days, and I was walking around outside going somewhere, and I saw a mom, and she had to be like 58, overweight, with a kid who was like maybe 7, and she was putting her card in, and she was getting 2 of them off the thing, and she had no business. I don't think she could ride a bike, and she was trying to do that, and the 7-year-old was gone on his, obviously. Boom. Now he's in Atlanta traffic downtown, and he's going down the sidewalk at a high rate of speed. and he's having to, drive it like this because he's only 7, and the mom can't even do hers at all. I'm worried about him running into traffic. I'm worried about her just falling and breaking her neck. There's no guidance to that. It's crazy.
All right. So that is a terrible story, and we hope the best there. But we will get to the games. It is JohnstonRVCenter.com Saturday preview. Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. And you can always see them online, JohnstonRVCenter.com. Great specials as they clean out the 22s to make room for the 23s. You can save there. Also, thank you to Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Hit the Next Round store. You can use our names again this weekend, and you get 50% off your second purchase. Buy one, get one 50% off right there at nextround.store, as always. And Dunaway's got that hat from there, as you can see. I may be speaking out of turn. I don't think this hoodie's in there. So don't look at this. As always, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribed and set your alerts. Retweet us on Twitter, like us there. Share us on Facebook, like us there. Like us on Twitch, and farmersonly.com as well. All right. Rapid Flash wants to know, does anybody know the Hoover Thompson score? Yes, it was 9-0 Hoover. Dunaway. Your Thompson Warriors did not win their region.
They did not. I watched a little bit of that game last night, and it was, to be honest, it was pretty boring. I thought Chris Stewart.
9-0 game wasn't fun.
Well, I caught it when it was 7-0 fourth quarter, and and Thompson was on like their own 7-yard line. But to be honest with you, the announcing wasn't Chris Stewart and Tyler Watts. I didn't know. Is that the game they used to do Friday nights?
I really couldn't tell you. I would have gone to Lunsford and Jerry Young for that one, so I don't have any earthly idea.
Yeah. So I had it on. It was the TV game. So it just popped up on my YouTube TV right there with, the UAB game when I got home, and I guess Tulsa and Temple was playing. And I used your line, Brown, last night at walk-ons. They were like, hey, can we get the Tulsa and Temple game on our screens here? Because we had the baseball, we had the UAB game on. And, hey, you want to put Tulsa Temple here? And I said, no. We have a saying on our show. If Tulsa and Temple are playing in my backyard, I'm going to tell them to hold it down. I don't care. You do not have to take off Ole Miss volleyball to put Tulsa and Temple.
That was somebody that had a little money on Tulsa.
That's right. No doubt. Had some action in that game. B. Rich is asking for a weekly teaser. We will get to that. Dunaway can do the people's teaser, and Lance will give us an actual teaser.
I think when I picked the 3 teams, I've been pretty good at it.
I've got one. No, I hand you one is what I typically do.
Well, I don't know if you want to start handing me stuff. We're even on the New York Butcher Shop steak right now. You've been very generous when I was 6 down. You threw me 3 gimmies, but you have to admit last night was not a gimme. Me taking Western Kentucky minus 1.5.
No, I really felt great about UAB. Again, I think if Dylan Hopkins and Zeno didn't play terribly, but it changes what Brian Vincent was going to do in that game. And I think if Hopkins doesn't go down, I think they win the game. Probably double digits. They're the better team.
Boy, this early slate is trash, but we'll dig through it. I was struggling. I've got the 3 screens here behind me. I was struggling to decide what I wanted on the 3 screens. I guess we can comment on Ohio State, Iowa. It is the big noon kickoff. Number 2, Ohio State laying 29.5 as they host Iowa. A total of 50 Dunaway. A total of 50 with one team laying almost 30. They don't think Iowa's scoring anything, do they?
No. In fact, that game could very easily be 48-3, 50-0, 56-0. And say this about Ohio State. I've seen some people discussing, like last week, I think it was Klatt, who said, what are your top 5, top 6 teams now? He asked that question, and I replied to him, and I put Ohio State, Georgia, Tennessee, Michigan, Clemson, Alabama. That was my top 6. And I got a lot of people. I don't know if they were Georgia fans or who. A lot of people like, who has Ohio State played? Who has Ohio State played? Well, I understand they haven't played the same schedule as some teams have, but Ohio State beats the eyes out of everybody, right? And I mean, they don't play down to their competition. They drill you. And I expect that to continue today. I don't know why you would watch that game other than you like college football or you're an Ohio State fan. If you're an Iowa fan, I would be checking to see what basketball season is going to look like, or wrestling season.
Yes, anything. LT, I mean, I'm right about that, right? When I see a line around 30 and a total around 50, I mean, they're telling you they think it's going to be like 40-10, right?
Yeah, well, that screams play Ohio State and under. And Ohio State's defense, I don't think people realize how good their defense has been playing under Jim Knowles. It's just we lose track of that because their offense is so good. They lead the FBS almost 49 points per game, but the defense has held all their opponents to under 21 points. I mean, right now they're 10th in scoring defense, only giving up 15 points per game.
Well, there are a couple of intriguing early games. 11 o'clock ABC, number 14 Syracuse at number 5 Clemson. But LT, number 5 Clemson, is a 2-touchdown favorite in this game, 14-point favorite with a total at 49.5.
Yeah, look, I mean, DJ has been really good. 17 touchdowns, only 2 picks. You look at Clemson, 27-14 against the number versus ACC opponents over the past 5 seasons. Best cover percentage in the ACC. But 3 of the last 5 meetings have been decided by 4 points or less. I think Syracuse is really a complete team. I'm surprised Garrett Schrader is playing as well as he is. Sean Tucker was one of the best freshman running backs in college football last year. He continues 111 yards per game. Aronde Gadsden Jr. has been really a bright spot. It's 3 guys on offense and a really good defense. And I don't know if it continues today, but I've just got a feeling these 11 o'clock sleepy games that the right play is Clemson minus the 2 touchdowns. But I kind of like Syracuse to keep this really close and make it interesting.
Can I make a point here about scoreboard watching? Some people may think it's too early to be scoreboard watching, but I don't think so. I don't think that is the case, especially with Clemson and TCU today. If you are now follow me here. If you are the loser of the Ohio State Michigan game, the loser of the Tennessee Georgia game, you really today should be cheering for Kansas State, Oregon, and specifically Syracuse to shock the world and knock off. Clemson's the one that has the path to be unbeaten that could prevent you as a one-loss non-conference championship game winner or participant from being there. Alabama's got to win out. So you guys don't have to scoreboard watch. You just have to watch the Tide the rest of the way. They win all their games, they're in. They lose one more, they're not in. So that's the way it's going to be for the Tide. But Tennessee, Georgia, the loser of that game, for them to have a shot to be in the college football playoffs, because they won't be in the SEC championship game, is to eliminate those 3 teams that are still unbeaten: UCLA, TCU, and Clemson. And you're still not guaranteed, because those conference champions could also have 1 losses. But specifically those 3 teams, they can't be unbeaten, and you have a shot.
What will be the best early game, or at least looks like the best early game on paper anyway, 11 o'clock ESPN, number 21 Cincinnati at SMU, and American play. Cincinnati on the road, laying 3 and a total of 60 Dunaway at Gerald J. Ford Stadium, not named after the president, named after the Dallas billionaire.
That's right. How confusing was he back in the day? I bet he got some phone calls as a billionaire first, but when you back in the what was that, 74 to 76, to call somebody up, Gerald Ford is on the phone.
He's in the phone book. My God, he's in the phone book.
And if he's a billionaire at that point, as a Dallas oil man, probably disappointing when it was like, hey, GJ, what's up? And it'd be like, no, it's the president. Oh, just you. Less power than the billionaire. Yeah.
Cincinnati, again, Luke Fickell's done such a tremendous job there. And after losing the opener to Arkansas, they've won 5 consecutive games. Offense is playing good. They're scoring 38 points per game. You look at SMU, they just turn the football over too much. I'm not a big Rhett Lashley guy. I think he's got a veteran quarterback, obviously, in Tanner Mordecai, who's played extremely well. But again, the 12 turnovers, the most in the AAC. I think that'll be the difference. I like Cincinnati in this one.
Yeah, I like Cincinnati too, Brian. I realized I didn't give you any football talk.
You did. We talked a lot about Gerald Ford. Yeah,
I just did a story. I thought that's what you wanted. I like Cincinnati in this one too. But Luke Fickell is going to be an interesting study this offseason to me, because they're moving to a path to the playoffs next year in the Big 12. But he's the guy that, if you have a job opening, that really is very interesting to me, because he's sort of, Cincinnati was good before he got there at times, but he sort of rebuilt that program. It has his personality. He didn't really get a fair shake at Ohio State, just that 1 year, sort of an interim guy, a fill the gap guy. that's an interesting guy to hire. I'm not going to say Auburn, but if it was Auburn or anybody else that opens up this year, even a Nebraska, I don't think I would leave Cincinnati going to the Big 12 for Nebraska. But Luke Fickell's a guy that'll be interesting to watch in the coaching carousel, and I don't know what I would do if I was him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Cincinnati going to the Big 12, like you said, they would have a path to the playoff. I think Fickell's making somewhere in the neighborhood of $5.5 million at Cincinnati. He's got a really good spot there. I mean, excuse me, I think you got to give the guy credit. Their only loss last year was Alabama in the playoffs. And here they are again as a one-loss team. And it was to Arkansas, and they played very respectable in that game. They had a chance to win that game at Arkansas. So he has kept it going there after losing all that talent to the NFL. Sauce Gardner and Desmond Ridder and all those guys, Kobe Bryant to the NFL, and has kept it going. So, yeah, I like Luke Fickell. You're right. You get a little bit of a stain based on what you did on the biggest job you've had. But, he was kind of an interim situation there anyway. So I don't know that you should have to wear that one of what happened to him at Ohio State. To the 2:30 window, it's not much better, but we can find some gems there. Number 13, Wake, Boston College, LT, minus 20.5. Wake hosting BC ACC Network. We get this because we touch on the top 25 games. No, it's not terribly interesting to a lot of people. But Wake minus almost 3 touchdowns against BC.
Yeah, and I thought BC was going to be improved. Djokovic is not playing really well. He's got the worst QBR in the ACC at 36.8. Zay Flowers, though, he leads the ACC in targets, receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. I mean, he is one of those guys we talk about. Tank Bigsby seems like he's wasting his career. Zay Flowers is going to be an NFL guy, and he seems like he's just wasting time at BC. But Wake Forest on the other side, 5-1 against the number this year. Since 2020, Sam Hartman's got 68 touchdown passes, third most in the FBS.
Wow. Dunaway, if they were playing in my backyard, would you watch it?
Well, no, I'm just saying that I'm sitting here today, and I'm credentialed in Tuscaloosa to go to the game.
I'm going?
I'm debating on whether I'm going or not. And Brown has basically flushed the 11 o'clock window for me.
It's not good.
And now he's saying the 2:30, you got to search to find Jim. Don't we have 3 great games?
I said it's not much better. I said it's not much better, but we'll find some gems. We got 3 great games we're about to talk about.
I mean, how many
great
games?
Build up to those. I'm building up to those.
How many great games do I have to try to keep me from going to Tuscaloosa tonight?
4.5.
Should I go to Tuscaloosa tonight?
I wouldn't.
I mean, I'll be honest.
You're a grown man. I don't know why you're asking me.
Like, if this is a full tank of gym meter right now, I am about right there. I mean, almost empty. I got no juice in the tank.
Well, then why would you go?
Because I'm credentialed, and I hate for an
call them
empty
and tell them
seat.
you're not using it. Tell them give it to an underprivileged kid. All right. BYU and Liberty is also there. What if they did give it to an under? What crap was that, Lance? What'd you just throw?
Oh, I just chunked. There was an empty Gatorade bottle.
BYU Liberty, Dunaway. BYU -7. You love some Kalani Sitake. We're building up to the big games, Jim, but this one could be a good one. BYU Liberty on ESPNU.
I don't think I've watched the game on ESPNU all year, Brown.
Yes, you have. You watched Appalachian State played somebody.
North Carolina?
Appalachian State, North Carolina, first weekend of the season. Yep.
Yeah. Well, why was that on ESPNU? Let's start with that.
I don't know.
programming
Because
choices.
it was maybe the best game of week 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, I think this game will play out like that. BYU's defense is awful this year. I don't know why.
They should win that game, though, right?
They should win the game, but I think it's going to be tighter than most people think. I really do. I mean, Hugh Freeze's done a good job. I mean, they've got one loss. Again, it came down to a 2-point conversion at Wake Forest. I mean, Liberty's a pretty good team.
See, we're at that point of the year, Brown, where we have seen 7 weeks of football. We probably last weekend saw the best contest of the year, 8 either ties or lead changes, scores in the second half with a walk-off field goal, good field rush, ending a 15-year win streak. All the drama of that game. So it's going to be hard to match that game drama the rest of the year. We're to week 8 now where everyone's like, I'm going to pick and choose on what I'm going to absorb today. I don't have to watch everything. Like BYU Liberty, if this was week 0, we would be all fired up about this.
No doubt.
Don't think I will take a glimpse at that. I won't know what uniforms they're wearing today.
All
I
right, well,
don't
let's
have
talk.
that as one of my 11 plays. I do have 4 games going at 2:30 though.
I bet we're about to touch on some of them. So Lance won't maybe give you an official pick, but give you a little nugget on some of these. Let's start with the biggest game of the day. Game day is there behind me. Fox, 2:30. Number 9, UCLA. Number 10, Oregon. Oregon, a 6-point favorite this morning. A hefty total of 7.5. We have lost Lance Dunaway. We've lost Lance. Not sure what's going on, but we've lost Lance.
Let's just leave the spinning wheel up there.
Well, that's too late.
Okay.
Dunaway, biggest game of the day today. Or UCLA and Oregon. Oregon minus the 6, total of 70.5.
First of all, I think of the great Keith Jackson when
Oh,
the Pac-10, Pac-8, Pac-10, Pac-12 has a meaningful game. So this one excites me. I'll be all dialed in on this one, UCLA and Oregon, because we get to see Bo Nix, right? Get to see him in a
right.
big setting. DTR is just a fantastic story. I don't know how many years he's been playing, so you'll get 2 quarterbacks in this game. The scene at Autzen, I mean, I've been watching game day all morning. It is before sunrise, right? Before sunrise, and they're packed in a downpour at Eugene, so they're fired up for this game. Dan Lanning, I was watching him earlier with plays with David Pollock up on the set. Lanning has momentum after that misstep in week 1. This may be my favorite game to watch on the board today, UCLA and Oregon. And my gut rooting interest will be with Oregon because Bo Nix was just that good on our show last year and was very nice to us. And I like Dan Lanning, and I got a family friend that coaches on that coaching staff as well. So I'll be cheering for Oregon, but I like both of these teams. I'm excited about that game. I think Oregon wins it. I think they win a close game, but I like Oregon to win this, and I think they win it with their defense today controlling DTR and Charbonnet.
LT, as you looked into it earlier for your plays, is weather an issue? I saw it on game day this morning, but I haven't looked ahead.
Yeah, I think it's an issue with the total. I almost gave out this under. Everybody's talking about both these offenses. Kind of agree with Dunaway. I think a defense is going to win this game. I mean, right now UCLA is 12th in scoring, almost 42 points per game. Oregon's offense has been great. Bo Nix is completing 70% of his passes. He's only turned the football over 3 times. I do think weather is going to be a factor in this game. You know what's interesting too, and I don't know if you guys ever look at this, Dunaway, I think you do, but on DraftKings, the most expensive quarterback is Bo Nix.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do look at that, and that tells you the folks who put that together expect him to have a big day. But I rarely go with the most expensive quarterback. What about you guys?
I do. I typically do.
It depends. It's a feel thing for me. Actually, my answer is I rarely remember to do my lineup, to be honest with you. I don't think I've been in one of our group DraftKings in about 4 or 5 weeks.
Hey, I'll tell you, this is an elimination game, though.
It is?
For what? Because, I think Oregon's still in the mix. I think as bad as that loss was to Georgia, if they win out, they're going to have 4 or 5 wins over ranked opponents. And if Georgia obviously wins out, I think Oregon's still got an opportunity as a 1-loss Pac-12 champion. But I think if UCLA is to lose a game where they are right now, I think they drop. So I do think this is an elimination game.
Yeah, I would like to tell everybody to check the chat out. We have an open league that if you'd like to play against all of us in DraftKings, you can go do that right now and have a chance to win a few coins.
All right, so that's UCLA, Oregon, 2:30 on Fox. It is the JohnstonRVCenter.com Saturday preview. Thank you to Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com, cleaning out those 22s to make room for the 23s, which means you get great deals on those remaining 22s. Go see it all at JohnstonRVCenter.com. Also, thanks to Sterling in the game down at Champy's world famous fried chicken. Great idea for your tailgates if you're headed to Tuscaloosa, or if you're just watching at the house, grab some for the people that are coming over and watching. Champy's world famous fried chicken, everything from those fried chicken fingers to the po' boys, those Mississippi Delta tamales that we love, all the great sides, the desserts, all there at Champy's. Don't forget to hit the Next Round store, nextround.store, nextround.store, code Jim Lance Brown, our Rockstar checkout, buy one, get one, 50% off. Thank you for catching us on YouTube. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, set your alerts, retweet us on Twitter, like us and share us on Facebook and Twitter, and also on Twitch. All right, Texas at Oklahoma State, Dunaway. Number 20, Texas, a team you love. 2-loss Texas, minus the 5 on the road at Oklahoma State, who is number 11. A lot of people hook 'em horns, Dunaway, a lot of people would look at that and say, whoa, wait a minute. How's the lower ranked team going on the road and they're giving points?
Well, they're that good. First off, two really good receivers. Bijan Robinson is so good, and then Quinn Ewers has been the story for this Texas team, unbeaten when he plays, and is his first true road game. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles an away crowd in what is an underrated, intimidating atmosphere there in Stillwater when they get those paddles going. This will be another fun game to watch. And this game comes down to whether Spencer Sanders is healthy and can play and be effective today to me, because if he can, I don't think Oklahoma State stands a chance. If he plays, and this is going to be a really good football game.
Yeah, if you're looking at trend and or angles, it says Oklahoma State. I mean, they're 5-0 against the number as a dog since the start of last season. Texas 1-5 against the number on the road the last couple of years. But I think it does come down to Spencer Sanders. There's a reason this number is almost a touchdown right now. He's not healthy. And, I talked about Jim Knowles, the impact he's made on the Ohio State defense. You go back to last year, in 2021, their defense only gave up 307 yards per game. They're giving up 437 yards per game, 130 yards more per game with the loss of Jim Knowles. So I just don't think Oklahoma State's defense is going to be able to hold up against Texas today.
Yeah, that's what obviously what the number would tell you is that is not going to be the case. That is 2:30 on ABC, part of a great trio of 2:30 games, which includes the CBS game, the Magnolia Bowl, number 7, Ole Miss at LSU. This is a game that has split our show this week. I will start with LT. You and I have been on LSU minus the 1.5, a total of 64.5 in this game down on the Bayou.
Kayshon Boutte, I mean, he's going to be the difference maker if they're going to win this game. I don't think Ole Miss has really been challenged. Again, their one quality win was against Kentucky, where they forced 2 turnovers in the red zone. They won the game. They shouldn't have won the game. I think LSU's got a ton of momentum right now with Jaden Daniels.
They forced 2 turnovers, though. They were not given 2 turnovers. So I don't think we give them enough credit for that. Will Levis is the greatest thing in college football. We all heard that all off season. So they won the game against him. They held him to 19 points. I just think LSU will struggle to stop the run today. And if you can't stop the run, then you can't beat Ole Miss. And I think Ole Miss has an effective day running the football. And Lane Kiffin, I think, is the better play caller in this game. So I'm going to go with Ole Miss to pull the upset on the road at LSU.
Well, it'd be big. Ole Miss would be, Brown, real quick, 8-0 for the first time since they won a national championship back in 1962.
Yep.
And this sounds like one of those butt Bama stats, but that it helps them that Alabama's now later in the year, right? I mean, Ole Miss traditionally had played Alabama in those first 4 or 5 games, Dunaway. So having them a little bit later in the year now puts you, first of all, in a situation where if you win this game, you're going to host Alabama. And you've got a very good shot of locking down a spot to Atlanta there.
One of you guys made the point this week that the winner of this game controls their own destiny, and they play host to Alabama. Both these teams get Alabama on these away games this year, and that's Alabama's road schedule left, playing at 2:30, and it'll be for the West, hopefully, if Alabama can survive Mississippi State and get there whenever they go to Baton Rouge or Oxford. So this is a big game for this team and a big game for Bama fans to watch today.
What do you think nationally? What's the bigger story? Alabama playing a LSU team that controls their own destiny, or Ole Miss?
Well, it's going to be either way, I think, LT, because one, Brian Kelly is a national name, and people are watching to see how that experiment works. And you lose on that big Sunday night, Labor Day weekend, that had a lot of eyeballs watching in a game that they probably should have won. And they've built this momentum to this point. So if they win today on national television, they still control their own destiny for Atlanta. That'll be a big story. But if Ole Miss is unbeaten when Alabama rolls into Oxford, the college football world, and if Alabama hadn't lost again, the college football world will be watching that. It's going to be Lane Kiffin. Can he beat the old man? Can he beat his boss and get to Atlanta? Ole Miss has never been there. That will be an amazing story. So either way, college football is going to get a gift later in the season.
But LT and both of you, LSU has got the easier path. I mean, excuse me, if they beat Ole Miss, and in the event they did beat Alabama, they would only have Arkansas, UAB, and Texas A&M left. So they got the easier of the 2 paths.
God, who would have thought before the season you would say that with Arkansas and A&M? At one point, 2 top 10 teams. But you're right. I mean, Ole Miss is scheduled down the stretch, and this is why I think the bottom's going to fall out. And I think Ole Miss ends up 8-4 this year.
I mean, Dunaway, they're scheduled down the stretch. Ole Miss is brutal.
Yeah. By the way, stake bet update. I need them to get to 9 wins again this year. So if they end up 8-4 in the regular season and we go to some random bowl game with Ole Miss, I will be on pins and needles trying to get that 9th win there. And Brown's already jinxed me on Tennessee. I fully expect UT Martin to upset Tennessee today because Brown's like, you realize that Jessica, Bill, and Justin Timberlake just redid their nuptials and celebrated their 10-year anniversary, and Tennessee's going to definitely have 10 wins, so you're going to win that one, Dunaway. And I'm like, Brown, you can't say that yet. We're not to 10 wins yet.
Dunaway. All right, so LT, I don't know if you saw that story, but Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel renewed their vows recently.
Okay, so, well, I've seen people get annulments on their honeymoon, so
I knew LT was going to turn it. LT, you've lost that one.
He always cheers against love.
This thing could turn on a dime.
No way Tennessee doesn't get 10 wins, LT. I mean, that is a given. You would at least grant me that. You're going to need a miracle. I should say a miracle divorce. You're going to need an unforeseen circumstance to happen.
Yeah, look, we're gonna see how Tennessee handles success. I mean, obviously, we'll see what they do in Athens. I assume that's going to be a loss, but I don't really see another loss. So that's a given.
Tricky game against Kentucky. Tricky game against Kentucky. If you're setting on the guy who's counting on 10 wins, tricky game against Kentucky.
You get the bowl there, right? Dunaway, he gets the bowl, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, I get the bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy 10 wins right there. Easy 10 wins for Tennessee. All right, the late slate, it does include Mississippi State and Alabama. Alabama right now, a 21-point favorite. 61 is your total for that one. I get the feeling Dunaway's not going. 3 touchdown favorite, though, Dunaway. If you do go, you're going to watch one team favored to win by 3 touchdowns. It doesn't scream great game.
Well, I mean, the only reason that I would go is I don't want to be the guy who only shows up when they're unbeaten, right? They lose a game and I don't show up.
Probably what they're thinking. They're probably thinking, you know what, we lost last week. I don't see Dunaway.
Well,
I think everybody in that press box is gonna, if you don't show up, they're gonna be like, where in the hell is Dunaway?
Well, I mean, guys, have y'all checked? I don't watch their show, but last time I saw him, he was helping our guys off the field in Knoxville. Did he make it out alive?
Well, I did want to take the victory lap tonight, get some pats on the back from people about helping get the players off. But when I told Maggie I was debating whether or not I would go or not, and I told her
she said, "Go, please go."
Yes, I told her why I wouldn't go. She didn't say it. God bless her. I love her. She didn't say it, but I could see it in her eyes. Like, you really think there's 105,000 fans there and workers, and then a press box full of people. You, in your mind, think that somebody is going to recognize you, that you're not there. And I tried to explain to her. I said, but I got credentialed. I don't want Aaron and the staff to credential me and me not show up. And they only credential 200 people, so I'm sure they'll notice if I'm not there.
It's ridiculous.
Aaron's such a good dude. If you sent him a text and said, I'm not feeling it, I don't think they're going to care.
Oh, he wouldn't. He wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't.
Anyway, with all that said, there was so much hype, and I guess, the Alabama-Tennessee rivalry is better than this Alabama-Mississippi State, because Mississippi State's really never been a factor in the SEC. But they've lost 14 straight to Alabama. This is quite the run that Bama's on against Mississippi State.
The last time, Dunaway, if you happen to go to Bryant-Denny, the last time State scored a touchdown there, Dak Prescott was the quarterback. That is hard to believe. The 2014 is the last time State scored an offensive touchdown in that stadium. I
was at that game, and it was a throwaway touchdown at the end of that game.
LT remembers it because it had an effect on many in the desert, didn't it, LT?
Yeah. It covered for Mississippi State. The funny thing is they were the number 1 team in the nation going into that game, but Alabama was laying double digits. They were -10.
Yeah, Bama jumped out to some weird score, right? Wasn't it like 26-3 or 26-4?
Yeah, I just remember Alabama. I think field position got them in the first half. I mean, they dominated the first half, but they didn't build the lead they needed to. And I just remember how cold that game was. It was freezing.
Do you think that's the first time in the history of the AP poll that the number 1 team had ever been a double-digit underdog?
Maybe so.
No, I remember one other time. It's sad that I've got this memory when it comes to gambling, but In the 2006, I think it was, 2007 Big 12 championship, Missouri was number 1, and Oklahoma was a double-digit favorite over them.
Wow.
What a memory. By the way, that was the right call for Oklahoma.
I played Oklahoma that night.
Yeah. They won going away, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
All right, another late game, 6:30 SEC Network. A little bit of intrigue, I think, in Columbia, South Carolina. Texas A&M is -3 on the road. A low total in this. They don't expect a ton of points here. 44.5 is your total. But Dunaway, A&M going to South Carolina -3 here.
Boy, I mean, Texas A&M has become such an afterthought, haven't they?
Yep.
I mean,
They have, yeah.
I mean, we talk about Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, all those programs before you even start thinking about talking about Texas A&M. And on the flip side of that, you talk more about Auburn than you do Texas A&M because of what's going on with Brian Harsin. I mean, it's such an afterthought at Texas A&M. That's got to be really sad for the people that pay all that money at Texas A&M, that they're such a, page 2, page 3 news in their own conference. And I think this is a tricky game. This is the kind of game that keeps the momentum going for Shane Beamer and company there. This is one of those recruiting wins for Shane Beamer. This is one of those booster wins for Shane Beamer. This is something he can continue to talk about in the off season, that we're still moving the program forward. It's a tricky game tonight. This one will be on one of my TVs. I'll be watching Texas A&M and South Carolina for sure, seeing if South Carolina can continue to make this a disastrous season for the Aggies.
Yeah, I will as well. Since South Carolina started 1-2, they've kind of disappeared, but they've won 3 straight. And during that 3-game winning streak, Spencer Rattler's played really good football. He's completed over 70% of his passes in all 3 of those games. Do you guys know what trophy Texas A&M plays for?
Against South Carolina?
Yeah.
There's a trophy in this game?
There
Texas
is a
A&M,
trophy.
South Carolina?
Yep.
Let's see. In this, they play for it's going to be something stupid. It's going to be Gamecock, Aggie.
Well, a guy died for this trophy, so it's not.
Died for it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Not stupid, Jim.
It's the James Bonham Trophy. He was a student at South Carolina. He died in the Battle of the Alamo. So it's been a while. So
yeah, it's been a minute. I'm glad we honor that guy with a trophy for a meaningless game.
Hey, and one other side note: if A&M loses, this will be the first ever 3-game losing streak at A&M for Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah. Let me make a point about South Carolina though, because you mentioned that they are now 4-2, which I think would surprise some people if you haven't paid attention. But hear me out here. If they win tonight, they're 5-2, right? Listen to their next 3. Hosting Missouri, you could easily see them at 6-2 there. Hosting at Vandy, could easily be 7-2 there. At Florida, that is a winnable game for them. I mean, he could, going into Tennessee and Clemson, where they'll lose both those, he could have them as an 8-2 team. I mean, that's pretty good coaching by Shane Beamer at that point.
But even 7-5 is better, right, than last year. 7-5 sort of keeps that momentum going. So even if he wins 3 of those 4 and then loses the last 2, that's a step in the right direction. Yeah.
Based on last year, and if he was to win 8 games this year, maybe even 9 with a bowl, the thing I worry about as a South Carolina fan, do you lose Shane Beamer?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what jobs would be open that would be appealing to him. But I mean, that's a heck of a job if he's got them 8-2. Now that Tennessee Clemson finish is about as tough as anybody's got in the country. So, not much you can expect there.
That is a name that has not been mentioned with Auburn. But if I'm an Auburn fan, if you could get Shane Beamer, would that excite you guys?
If he's 8-2 going into that game, I would look at it. Yeah. If he's 8-2 going into the Tennessee game, I'm not going to hold Tennessee and Clemson against him. But Dunaway, if he's 8-2 there, I'm like, all right, this guy came into the first year. Was really, really good. And now here he is 8-2 again. I'd give it a look.
I sit here and I start, when you say things like Shane Beamer, things I've never thought of. I would look at him if I was Auburn. Yeah. But, we've had so much turnover in the coaching carousel the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, it's to the point where a lot of people have settled into really good jobs. And I just don't know how many quality people are out there on the coaching carousel that you can say, man, that guy, I can guarantee he's going to come in and be a program changer. But I guess you don't have to win the news conference because we thought Josh Heupel was a disastrous hire, and I guess time will tell. I mean, all he did was beat Alabama, which
He's been
makes
really good. So yeah,
yeah. I mean, but that makes you think like, okay, but you know, a lot of people have done that. Gus Malzahn has, and Hugh Freeze has a couple of times. Gus did a few times, and you know, Jimbo Fisher did last year. And those coaches right now are in different places or you know struggling to be successful where they're at. So it's not guaranteed success just because you beat Alabama once.
All right, let's move on. It is the JohnstonRVCenter.com Saturday preview. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online. JohnstonRVCenter.com. They're clearing out the 22s to make room for the 23s. It means you've got great savings there at JohnstonRVCenter.com. Also, Champy's, world famous fried chicken. Great for your tailgates in Tuscaloosa. Great for your parties. If you're just hanging around the house watching all the games, Champy's, world famous fried chicken. Alabaster and 119 in Alabaster there near Thompson. And also don't forget the Next Round store, nextround.store. Use codes Jim, Lance, Brown, or Rockstar at checkout. Buy one, get one 50% off with any of those names there at nextround.store. Thank you for watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Like us, share us, subscribe, set alerts, do all those things. Follow us on social media at Next Round Live. Minnesota's at Penn State, number 16 Penn State, licking their wounds after that huge beat down by Michigan. Penn State laying 5 at home in this one. They play for a trophy, too. Do either one of you know the trophy of this one?
Which game is this?
Penn State, Minnesota.
They played for the Governor's Victory Bell.
That is correct, yes. Lady Bird, as Dave says, is making an order for her chicken minis and Bloody Mary this morning.
I mean, she's already had chicken minis. Lady Bird, come here.
Then in that case, she's letting you know it's time to let me outside.
That's right. I'll need to visit the yard if you don't mind. LT, Penn State minus the 5 in this game for the Governor's Victory Bell.
How about this? Penn State 7-22-1 against the number following a loss under James Franklin. James Franklin just doesn't impress me. I'm just not a big fan. PJ Fleck, I think, has done a really good job at Minnesota. It all comes down to Mohamed Ibrahim. If he's running the football effectively, they can't throw the football. Yeah. And I think the status right now for Tanner Morgan is.
Yeah, well, Pete Thamel reporting on College Game Day to start their show that both Tanner Morgan and Sean Clifford are questionable for this game. Clifford has a better chance of playing, and they think he'll try to tough it out. Tanner Morgan's going to be a game-time decision too, but they are not expecting him to play. So they're bringing in their 4-star quarterback recruit freshman, who's apparently the future of the Minnesota program, but a tough place to start. I mean, this feels like Penn State all day long if you're playing this one.
Is this their whiteout game, Dunaway?
It is their whiteout game. The guy who invented the whiteout is back for the first time, they said, on game day. That's a primetime game, but such a dog of a game because the Gophers have lost 2 straight that Fowler, Herbstreit, and Holly are going to be in Tuscaloosa on ESPN and not on the main ABC channel for that game. So this feels like, what was it? Penn State minus 5.5. I played that in the Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3 at nextroundlive.com. I played that yesterday. I think Penn State wins this going away.
I'll take Minnesota plus 5.5 for a steak if you want to do it.
Oh, all day long, my friend, all day long. It really makes me uncomfortable when you're down stakes. It really does. I mean, it's just the default setting is
not worried
down
about
stakes.
Hey, Minnesota 8-3-1 against the numbers of dog last 2 seasons, 7 outright wins. And so 13 whiteout games in the history of Penn State. What do you think their record is in whiteout games? Straight up.
In 13 of them, I would say they are 8-5.
I'm going to say 7-6.
They're 7-6.
Yeah. That was a guess, by the way.
All right. So it's really not what it's built up to be, then, is what you're doing.
Well, they usually put the whiteout in a situation where they need a little extra juice to try to upset somebody, right? Usually it's an Ohio State and Michigan. Thought it was odd they went Minnesota this year, but I guess they had a little nod from ABC that it would probably be a night game in that situation. I like Penn State to get back right, run the football well tonight, and control Minnesota a little bit.
All right, one more game. By the way, if this is if you ever look for a night where you're like, I don't really want to stay up Pac-12 after dark, this is your week right here. Not great after this one. Kansas State at TCU. Top 20 matchup, number 17 at number 8. It is an FS1 7 o'clock kick, and TCU in Fort Worth there is laying 3.5, a total of 54.5 LT.
TCU 8-22-1 against the numbers of home favorite since 2016. They haven't been good in this spot. Max Dugan is playing out of his mind right now. 16 touchdowns, only 1 interception. And on the other side, Adrian Martinez is playing really good for K-State.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And they made a point on the game day set, and I had read this earlier this week. When you get to making the Big 12 championship game, if TCU wins this game, they control a tiebreaker at that point over almost every contender, like 3 teams. Like, it's going to be really hard for them at that point, if they win this game tonight, to not be one of the 2 teams in the Big 12 championship game. So it's a huge game for Sonny Dykes and TCU today to secure their spot in Arlington for the Big 12 championship game. Now, they've got bigger fish to fry. They're still trying to make the college football playoff, so they want to win them all. But TCU, I like this football team, but there's something about Adrian Martinez in Kansas State that anytime you think you got the Big 12 figured out throughout the history, even back when it was, whatever they were, when they really had 12 teams, when they were the Big 12 and they were in divisions, that Kansas State program seems to always come up and shake up the snow globe in the Big 12. This could be one of those days, but purple's the color, and I think TCU wins that one, but I do not want to put a stake on it. I know you love Adrian Martinez.
Hey, I want to go back to Oak State, Texas. Brandon says rumor is Little Gundy is starting for Oak State. Is his kid the backup?
It is. That is, if Spencer can't go, Gundy is one of the 2 quarterbacks who could get playing time today. I didn't know if it was Mike's son or Kell's son. But it is one of the Gundy's sons that is, I think he's a lefty too. I think he's a left-handed quarterback.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Are you guys going to do some teasers? You guys, do you have any?
I went through it. There's not a good one this week.
No good ones. Dunaway, do you have one for the people?
I do not, but
I mean, the only thing that jumps out at me is Miami at a pick against Duke at home. I mean, if Cristobal loses to Duke at home, the way this season's going, going to be disastrous.
Well, I mean, Brown blew past that 11:30 Bally's game, like that was nothing. I mean, that's fighting.
Bally's.
I mean, it's on Bally's at 11:30. I mean, Bally Sports South, or whatever region in the country you're watching us on Bally Sports today. I mean, if you're looking, I mean, you've got TVs behind you. If you got to fill up 3 or 4 or 6 TVs, Bally's is you can get that channel. Their beer drink's good too. 11:30 Duke in Miami. That could be a good game.
Michael asked if I have Dog TV on the top right TV. I thought I had it on Fox. There's supposed to be Big Noon Kickoff on right now. I don't know what the deal is. So maybe I didn't get it on the right channel. Thought I had it on Fox 6 for Big Noon Kickoff. They may be showing dogs.
Yeah, it doesn't. Big Noon Kick doesn't start until 10 o'clock.
That's not true.
The better game, Kansas Baylor or Syracuse Clemson?
Kansas Baylor, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas still without their great quarterback, though, right? Both backup quarterbacks in that game, aren't they?
Oh, was playing pretty good football.
Yeah.
It says Big Noon Kickoff right there, Dunaway. It says it on
my screen. It's a 2-hour show?
That's what it says, but I'm getting Dog TV. Clat turned into a dog.
I thought it was a 1-hour show.
I don't know. I know it said it was Big Noon Kick, so I turned the dang thing on. I just wanted some football on behind me. I have no earthly idea.
I'm so old. My TV guide says it doesn't come on until 10.
Hey, all right. So JohnstonRVCenter.com brings you this show. We're going to be back live with you right after Bama, Mississippi State. So Bama, Mississippi State, as soon as it goes final, we'll give you some thoughts on that one for the post-game show. Don't forget Johnston RV Center. They are clearing out the 22s, making room for the 23s. That means you save. How about if you're looking for a fifth wheel, that 2022 Wildcat 302BH fifth wheel, $399 a month, 10% down, and approved credit. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com. And go hit up Sterling and the great people at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Get some food for that tailgate or that party you're having around your house today. They've got great chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta tamales, po' boys, great sides, great desserts. Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champy'schicken.com. Don't forget to hit the Next Round store. Buy one, get one half off when you use Jim, Lance Brown, or Rockstar at checkout. All right, boys, we'll see you all after the game. Enjoy your football today.
Hey, 11 locks up right now, lanceslock.com.
11 locks. Couldn't find a parlay, but you got 11 locks.
Yeah, non-losing week. jump. Yeah, I couldn't find a parlay, but I feel good about today's slate.
Did you have anything? I'm sorry, Jim. Real quick though, did you do anything on Golden State and Denver last night?
No, I had the Wizards -2.5. They won by 2. I had a 2 night. I lost by 1. Literally, give me 2 points and I'm 2-0.
Did you see the end of Golden State and Denver? Were you watching that?
Did not.
Denver fell apart. They still got the win just because the Joker is an incredible player. But I mean, they had that game in the bag and absolutely fell apart in the last 30 seconds. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. If just 2 quick notes. One programming note: did we pick the Alabama Mississippi State game?
No, we did not.
Okay. Hold on that one. And then late night. I mean, just for aesthetics only. If you are not a sleeper, the 840 FS1, FS2, wherever they're putting it tonight because of baseball. Utah State and Wyoming, just a beautiful stadium to watch a football game in. Utah State, Wyoming will be a good aesthetic game, but an entertaining game. San Diego State, Nevada tonight, 9:30 CBS Sports Network. If you don't sleep, you don't have a date, you don't have anything fun you're doing, that'll be a quality football game, back and forth game, San Diego State, Nevada. Now let's talk.
Total's 34.5, Dunaway.
Yeah, it's Dunaway. 34.5. You think that's going to be entertaining back and forth?
San Diego State, Nevada's 34.5?
Yeah, it's going to be 10-7.
Oh, pound the over there. I'm projecting 52-48. Kaepernick's not playing in that one?
I'll take the under for a stake.
So there's no Kaepernick, and there's no what great running back San Diego State, can't remember his name.
Marshall Faulk.
No Marshall Faulk in that game?
Nope.
Neither one.
Okay, well then nix that one. Yep.
You want to go stake under?
No.
No, he's not really going to stay up and watch it.
So you want me
that.
Wait, are you offering me a stake on the over on 34.5?
Yeah.
I can take over?
Yep.
Ooh. Never out of an over, Brown.
You're not until you are.
I'm gonna play it close to the vest. I've got one on the line today with Penn State -5.5 after fighting back even. I mean, do you remember when I was down 6? I think I was down 7.
I don't.
Oh,
what a comeback. What a comeback.
I've been chopping wood. Do y'all think Alabama covers tonight?
Bama -21. What you doing, Dunaway? Bama -21.
I don't know.
Yeah, I felt good earlier.
Why did you bring it up? If you don't have a pick, you ask if we picked it.
I mean, it's the tradition, and we do it on the show. We pick.
Alabama wins the game. I've got to play on this total. So it's one of my 11 plays at lanceslog.com.
Promo code Jim.
I liked Alabama earlier in the week. I just don't know. I don't know. It's a tough game.
The total is 61. Lance says he's got to play on the total at 61 right now. Dunaway?
I'll take Alabama to win, and just something tells me it's going to be Mississippi State covers. But I don't feel good either way on that one. I would not play it if I was a gambling man. But I mean, I'm shell shocked about the Alabama secondary, so I don't know what to think of these guys.
Yeah, different challenge in this one. Different challenge. So I would probably say Alabama, but State covers the 21. That would be my pick on that one. No Auburn, obviously. They got a bye this week. We'll be back after that Bama-Mississippi State game for all the reaction on the Culver's post game. Till then, you guys enjoy your football Saturday.
Where do you think I'll be? Will I be here or will I be outside on the deck?
I know. Be outside on the deck.
I think you'll end up going down. FOMO.
I can tell already. He has talked himself out of it.
I don't think I'm going.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
Nobody cares.
That's right. All right, boys. We'll see y'all after the game. After Bama, Mississippi State, we're